Steve Dunfee Music and History. Located in the Midwest of the United States, Indiana is a state known for its strength in farming and manufacturing. In agriculture, it is one of the largest corn and wheat producers in the country. The word Indiana translates to the land of the Indians, a region battled for by the French and the British in the French and Indian War. It was in this pleasant land, with temperatures ranging from -6 degrees Celsius in winter to 32 degrees Celsius in the summer, that we met country singer-songwriter Steve Dunfee, 56. For Steve, his childhood was the most peaceful time of his life. "I played with my classmates all the time, and I loved to play baseball more than anything else," he says. With the advent of adolescence, responsibilities began to emerge. However, baseball continued as one of his favorite activities. As a teenager, the artist began earning an income by cutting the lawns of the neighboring yards in the summer, removing the snow in the winter, and doing other sporadic jobs. "I got my first real job during my junior year of high school. I was a line cook at Long John Silver's seafood shop restaurant," he adds. His introduction to music came at the age of 9. Steve was in his 4th year of elementary school, where the school applied musical aptitude tests to students. "I scored very well on the test, so the band teacher recruited me. I played jazz trumpet throughout my last year of high school," he says. The artist has never had singing lessons or vocal coaching. His voice comes naturally. He currently rehearses music for about an hour a day when he can. Steve adds that he never had any parental help with his musical career. However, his mother was very much a fan of music. Thus, he grew up listening to the songs and artists she enjoyed, which influenced him in many ways. According to Steve, starting a professional music career at the age of 50, after working all his life in other professions, was, and probably still is, his biggest challenge. Although the trumpet was his first instrument, later the artist took great interest in something more popular, the guitar. With a good musical background, Steve became self-taught in learning the instrument. He bought his first guitar in 1982 and learned to play it in jam sessions with a group of military colleagues. "I fell in love with the guitar. I could play it to accompany my singing. It seemed very appropriate to me," he adds. The artists who inspired him most are John Denver, Jim Croce, Gordon Lightfoot, and Chris Christopherson. His first public performance was in the fall of 2013 at a charity concert at the Heritage Hall Theater to benefit the local headquarters of the philanthropic institution United Way. Steve confesses that in his first performance he was a bit nervous and excited. His taste for writing began in the 1980s, but it was 2014 when he started publishing his songs. 6 years ago, Steve moved to the Appalachian Mountains, where he became deeply inspired by the musical roots, natural beauty, and legendary stories of the region. From this inspiration came the song Appalachian Reflections, written in 2013 and published in April of the next year. His creative process occurs occasionally when rehearsing. He looks for new melodies that are catchy and then writes lyrics to accompany his new melodies. However, inspiration often comes to him to write about life events, or a particular topic, and the lyrics come first. "I write lyrics to flow with the music, like in poetry, and in the process I usually find myself making a few subtle changes before I am satisfied," he reveals. In his musical journey, Steve has collaborated with other artists. Among them are "I Will Love You," co-written with Marvin P. Gaye, "Broken Chains," with James Lewis, "The Only Place I Can Lose the Blues," written and recorded in partnership with the singer-songwriter Dina Andrews from Isle of Jersey, UK, "Mountain Man," with Dina Andrews, "Holy Land," with James Lewis, "Presley Was Her Name," with Gregory Ray, and "High Plains Drifter," with Gregory Ray. Among his favorite compositions are the songs, "The Honey Doe Song," "A Million Tears," and "You Rescued Me." His first album, Appalachian Reflections, was released in 2014 with songs, "The Mountain Plan," "You Rescued Me," "Turn the Page," "Appalachian Reflections," "Keeper of the Stars," A Million Tears, Hallelujah, and If Not Now. Steve does an average of 5 or 6 shows a month between the months of May and October. During the winter he takes a break from performing. The artist usually performs alone and sometimes accompanied. For example, in August 2016, he hired the band Cane Mill Road, a regional bluegrass band, and the drummer Billy Gambill to accompany him at a large venue. For Steve, the biggest challenge today is building a fan base that is interested in acquiring his songs. We invest significant time and money to produce our songs. But finding fans who will buy them, for all of this is worth it, is a big challenge, he argues. However, the artist adds that the music is in his DNA, being one of the things in life he loves most. Music has always been important to me. We all deal with a number of stressful factors in our daily living, and music brings me fantastic relief. Whether it's listening, creating, or playing, it keeps my mind healthy, he emphasizes. In addition to his music career, Steve is a volunteer on the board of directors at the Heritage Hall Theatre in his hometown and is the one who designs and publishes the playbills for the shows presented by them. On the issues of the world, Steve comments that having traveled abroad for several years, he realizes that everyone comes from different cultures, therefore, we all have different core values. And in general, the artist believes that most people in the world are good-hearted and peaceful. However, in recent years he has noticed an astonishing increase in terrorism against innocent people in all nations. I believe this is nothing more than the evil work of the enemy. As a Christian, what else could I attribute it to? This is a key factor in making the world very complex, he argues. Steve doesn't believe that there will be major changes in the world for a long time and would like to see radicalism end. I doubt that in the years that I have left I will see much change for the better, he says. What bothers him most is seeing senseless killing of innocent people, domestic violence, and dishonest governments who serve themselves instead of serving their people. The artist's happiness lies in his faith in Jesus Christ, in music, in his family, especially his wife, in good friends, and outdoor activities such as hiking, kayaking, golf, baseball, among others. To learn more about the singer's work, visit the Steve Dunfee official website at stevedunfeemusic.com. For Zel Florizel. You can find more indie artists' histories on zelflorizel.blogspot.com.